I'm not sure if you guys are like me or not, but every once in a while, I see an ad and I'm just like, yeah, that really just kind of hits the spot, doesn't it? And when you're talking about political ads in particular, you kind of have two separate baskets your ad might fall into. You could try to outline a policy agenda or talk about a specific issue and how you might implement that if you were to get elected. And then on the other hand, you could try to define your opponent, or you can try to call out something that is a poison in their ideology and why that might be bad for the country or your local election. But what's really interesting about the ad that I'm about to show you is that this Progressive Action Fund, the people who put this ad together, they have created a reoccurring character, the Republican congressperson. And so every time I see another one of their new ads, I kind of just want to sit down and pay attention. And they've done a really good job of really just pinpointing different topics that are really poisonous as part of the MAGA ideology. You guys may have seen a few of these ads, but the latest one they came out with is talking about these mass deportations and how, American citizens can actually get wrapped up in this whole thing. So let's go ahead and take a look at the ad, and then I want to talk about the implications this has, the mass deportations, and how it is impacting our lives today. If you guys do appreciate my work, please do remember to subscribe.
I had a really good time today.
Yeah, me too. I really look.
What are you doing?
She's coming with us.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're rounding up illegals.
She was born here. She's a citizen.
I don't care. She looks like one of them. But don't worry. When she's in prison in El Salvador, she'll have lots of company.
The homegrowns are next. And like I said, what I really love about this ad is that Republican congressperson, they use the same actor every time, and they have used him over and over and over again. And now every time I see one of their ads, I'm like, yeah, we gotta sit down and pay attention. And they do such a good job of dramatizing how these mass deportations can impact the American citizens' life. And we've been seeing it all over the country. If you're going to go out there into the streets of California or across the country and you're targeting people based on maybe their skin color or maybe their occupation, of course, American citizens are going to get wrapped up in all of that. That was one of the main things that we were warning about before Donald Trump got elected. We were warning that these mass deportations were going to be absolutely devastating, not only for the undocumented immigrant community, but for the immigrant community who are here legally and American citizens. I mean, just take this example. This is somebody in Rochester, New York, who witnessed ICE agents smashing out a window to arrest somebody, and then it turns out an American citizen got looped into all this as well.
A mother and daughter visiting Rochester from Georgia, witnessing a tense traffic stop involving ICE and Border Patrol on Brown Street in Rochester Tuesday morning. Agents can be seen in this video captured by Caden Good trying to get occupants inside a truck to open the door.
Are you opening it or no?
Before smashing in a window.
What the hell?
That's when, it struck me, and I was horrified. I couldn't believe it.
Yvette Good asked if agents had a warrant, and one replied with yes. They were then seen taking people out of the truck, including a man named Jose Castro.
What's your name?
Jose's sister Dina says her brother is originally from Ecuador and is now a United States citizen.
So here you've got Jose Castro, who came here from Ecuador. He's here in this country legally. He is a citizen of the United States. But because he was traveling with a group of guys that ICE decided to target, now he's sitting on the curb in handcuffs, even though he showed his ID when he got pulled over. Now, of course, we don't know exactly what went on the rest of this stop or how this particular truck was profiled, if it was profiled. But this is what we're seeing all over the country. It's just unacceptable. How is it possible that we have our police or our ICE agents going around and smashing out windows and then arresting American citizens? Is that really the country that we want to live in? And this isn't even the first time we've seen windows being smashed out of cars by these ICE agents. It is absolutely terrifying They're creating a police state by letting these ICE agents roam around and target people based on the color of their skin. And that's what it really appears as to what is happening here. Here's another instance where somebody was just trying to document how ICE was treating another human being, and then he finds himself arrested.
Hey, no les abra! Yo, are you serious, bro?
Pope Garcia was capturing an ICE raid on camera when he suddenly became the target as well.
Get him down!
The 37-year-old U.S. citizen tackled and taken into custody.
You want to go to jail? Fine. You got it.
The pressure of like the knee on like my back and like his hand on my neck, like I felt like, is this it for me?
Other witnesses capturing the violent takedown, which quickly went viral. It happened Thursday.
No les diga su nombre. No les diga su nombre.
As Garcia was filming ICE agents detaining people outside Home Depot in Hollywood. Numerous witnesses, including Garcia, yelling at the officers as they targeted a man in this truck, smashing his window.
A split second after that is when he lunged at me, and I'm still recording. So he pushes me, puts both hands on me, and I push his hand off. And then he didn't like that, so he grabbed my left hand.
Garcia, who is a PhD student at Claremont Graduate University, says the officers seemed surprised when he told them he was a U.S. citizen.
I mean, this is just absolutely insane. The guy wasn't even getting in the ICE agent's way. I mean, if we take a look at this video, I mean, he is clearly. Let me see if I can pull it up here. He's clearly standing back. Sorry, I wish I would have queued this up sooner. But look, here's the truck. He's standing, 5-10 feet back? He's just trying to record what is going on because he just saw the ICE agent smash out a window. And then all of a sudden, he's being thrown to the ground, tackled by 2 or 3 ICE agents and thrown into handcuffs. Just because he was trying to record how these agents were acting. Again, most of these people, these ICE agents, they're covering their faces. You can't identify them. They often do not present a warrant if you ask for one. They often do not present any identification so that you could at least know and prove that they are federal agents. And when good American citizens stand up and try to record what is going on without even getting in the ICE agent's way, they're now getting thrown to the ground and placed in handcuffs. Some of them are even hauled off to jail, and then they have to figure out how to get out of jail, bail out, or whatever it may be. This is not impeding the work of a federal agent, and we know that this DHS is fabricating all of these lies to try to charge people like this guy for just recording what is going on. It is so pernicious. We've seen it time and time again. Here's another incident from Long Island where a U.S. citizen is forced out of his work truck just because ICE agents said he was supposedly looked like somebody that they were looking for.
What's up, guys? Can I see your ID, please?
23-year-old Elzon Lemus, an electrician, was in his work van with a coworker when they were pulled over by ICE agents in Westbury.
Because you look like somebody local.
What's that for? Looking for?
Lemus asks why they need his ID.
All right, this is going to go one of 2 ways here. Okay. I need to see your ID. If you're not the guy I'm looking for, you're not the guy I'm looking for.
Okay, ID.
But we need your ID.
Nah.
Okay, if you don't get your ID, then we're gonna, have to figure out another way to ID you, and it may not work out well for you.
Nah. Listen, I'm not rolling up. Keep it down. I keep it down. What are you doing?
The agent forces the door open and demands Lemus stops recording. Lemus was born and raised in New York and was stunned.
I felt like my rights were just out the window, and it's like that it felt like I didn't have anything, anymore. Like I couldn't do much now.
Lemus was taken out of the car, handcuffed for about 25 minutes while the ICE agents searched him. When they found his ID, they let him go.
And this is just one of the more mild cases, right? At least this guy, he was put in handcuffs. That should have never happened in the first place. But at least he was let go 25 minutes later and he wasn't even hauled off to jail. I guess that's a win in this particular scenario, but this whole thing is just wrong. You cannot start pulling people over because they look a certain way. It's because they have a different color skin, and maybe the guy you're looking for has the same color skin. That is not enough of a pretense to pull somebody over. And to then, you got these ICE agents pulling people over on no charges. They didn't break the law. They're not being accused of breaking the law. They just say, oh, well, you kind of look like somebody that we're looking for, and so go ahead and cough up your ID. They do not have a right to do that. If you've done nothing wrong, if there's no reasonable suspicion of a crime being committed, they do not have the right to pull you over and demand that you identify yourself, especially if you're doing it based on the color of somebody's skin. Obviously, that is not okay. This is what Trump's America has become. American citizens are getting wrapped up in these mass deportations. We are treating people like less than humans. We did another video where ICE is holding a small man down and hitting him in the face. It's just not okay. And I want to go ahead and show you this one last video. Here is Adrian Martinez. He tried to stand up for somebody who was being arrested by ICE. And I want to go ahead and play the video, and then we'll talk about the nuances of this particular case. But again, here is an American citizen. Watch how he is treated here.
Him, 20-year-old Adrian Martinez, who works nearby at Walmart, pulled up in the black car, then got out.
Now he's in front of the this white car here. They're talking, and he goes back towards the cart, and he moves it in front of the ice truck. As the ice truck looks like it's trying to leave.
It's not clear what was said or if Adrian made contact with federal agents, but he was thrown to the ground and eventually detained.
Did it appear to you as though he may have interfered with the federal agents at all?
He did get involved. I don't want to say one side or the other, but he did move the cart in front of them.
Adrian's mom, Myra, said he's now in federal custody downtown Los Angeles. She said he's being held for assaulting a federal agent.
Now they want to, press charges on him and everything, but the way they were treating him and man down on him, how are they going to press charges when they're the ones that were doing that to him?
Now, this case is a little bit different, and I want to point out something here just to let everybody know. If you are blocking an ICE vehicle, if you are trying to impede them moving forward, that is something that you could potentially get charged for. But the way that the ICE agents responded in this particular scenario was absolutely uncalled for. And then, like I said, they have been so dishonest, this ICE agency, this DHS, they're now trying to say that this young man assaulted federal officers. But when the video came out, when we had multiple angles of the security cameras, it was very clear that he assaulted nobody. Did he pull the cart in front of the ICE truck? Yes, he did. And he could be charged for that. But he didn't assault anybody. And in fact, it was the other way around. They were using excessive force against him. They threw him to the ground. Then they gathered up around him. They were very rough. They were pinning him down with multiple agents. And I'm not saying that what this kid did was right. I have the impulse to stand up for somebody just like this kid would. But you also need to understand the risks that are associated with doing something like that. And I know it's a tough line to draw because the way that this ICE agency is acting, it's just so un-American that you want to stand up and do anything that you can to try to get in their way. But we have to also realize that there are consequences associated with some of those actions that you might engage in. So it's something that we definitely need to keep in mind. If you want to engage in civil disobedience, if you want to stand in front of an ICE agent's vehicle, more power to you. But no, there are risks associated with that behavior. Now, does that give the right to these ICE agents to beat somebody like this, to throw him to the ground, to rough him up like they did? He ended up spending 3 or 4 nights in jail. He was finally released. I checked before I came to record this video, so he is out of jail right now. But those charges of assaulting a police officer, a federal police officer, are pending against him. And those carry heavy, heavy sentences, even though there's no evidence of that actually occurring. So this is just some of the stuff that we're seeing all across the country. This is what the mass deportations in Trump's America looks like. And they're not even rounding up as many people as Biden was. They're not rounding up as many people as Obama was. You know, they like to call Obama the deporter in chief. Yeah, he deported a lot of people. And maybe we had maybe one-offs, maybe a few instances of ICE agents being a little rougher than they should have been, but not like we're seeing it today. They are using the force that is unnecessary in many of these occasions. They are being cruel for cruelty's sake. And they know that in this Trump administration, they're likely not going to be held accountable for their actions, whether they're beating the crap out of some dude while holding him down or not. This is what we were warning about. Donald Trump is turning our country into some sort of police state where you've got ICE agents just kind of patrolling the streets. And if you look like you might be undocumented, maybe your skin's a little bit darker than somebody like mine's, well, then you best brace for what's coming next, because you might have an ICE agent tackle you to the ground and then try to justify charges later. It's absolutely despicable. It is un-American, and we should find ways to stand up and fight back against this fascist nonsense. So, again, I think the ad, excuse me, I think the ad that we played in the beginning of this clip does a very good job of dramatizing what is actually going on in America. And as we look at these examples that were much more violent than the ad, I still think they do a really great job of giving that Republican congressperson a character, a repeat role. So every time we sit down and see another one of their ads, you kind of want to perk up and pay attention. So I think that these types of ads could definitely be effective at pointing out the cruelty of this authoritarian regime. So I will leave it there for now, guys. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. We are trying to build something here on the left that adequately pushes back against the right-wing media ecosystem that just launders all of this fascist nonsense for the Trump administration day in and day out. Oftentimes, they are cheering this stuff along. So if you do like what I do here, please do remember to smash that subscribe button. Of course, that is free. And if you guys want to see the case of that small man being held to the ground and punched in the face by this ICE agency, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.